could we potentially improve the sow and the pig ability to better handle inflammation? We know it's going to happen, right? Could that possibly help the sows and pigs manage these challenges and stressors better? And at the end of the day, what we're looking for is lifetime productivity and throughput. Oops, there you go. Okay, so I think some of you have probably seen this data already. Can't remember how many of you were here last time we presented this, but this is kind of like where this whole biomarker saga started, right? This is the work that we did initially in Sows. So what we're looking at here is the distribution of the biomarkers. These are our frequency, and that same buckets as Brittany alluded to, same categories of the biomarker. We're still looking at that 0.15 threshold here, what we're calling at this time here deficient or low. You see me use these terms interchangeably. So what we found is that these sows here, we're just feeding the base. So baseline is the product that we started investigating, the mode of action. We fed the product to sows, and here we're measuring piglets at weaning. So the kind of same time point that we keep alluding to, right? There's serum vitamin A at weaning or biomarker level at weaning. So what we found is the pigs that came from control sows, almost 30% of them were on that low or deficient category. And then pretty much all of the pigs that were coming from our sows that were fed the product were adequate levels of the biomarker. So that's kind of where it all started. We're trying to investigate these differences, these different biomarkers. If you remember, I think Jeff showed a slide earlier that had some other markers, some pro-inflammatory cytokines that we took in sows and piglets as well that I'm not showing here. If you're curious, let us know. We have the data available. I just didn't want to spend too much time on that because it's not as new information as what I'm going to show you next. But part of that study as well, part of the use of this product in sows is what we've seen in the pigs post-weaning. So this is the impact of just feeding the product again to sows, what we see in the piglets post-weaning. So piglets here after wean receive the same diets, right? However, we see at the end of the nursery, in two trials, different trials, and then our combined meta-analysis here, pigs that came from those sows that received the product, that consumed baseline product, had almost 2 percentage points lower mortality here. So kind of makes a lot of sense. To me, this did not make a lot of sense until we got to Brittany's data, right? That we were able to follow pigs throughout, and we saw that those pigs in the very low categories just die more, right? They don't survive. Their survival rates are lower than the pigs on the higher end categories. So these are initial trials with this product. You might remember it being called Cell Platform. So for some of you that are wondering, oh, I've seen this under a different name. So this was named Cell Platform. Since we started doing some investigative work in piglets post-wean or pigs post-wean, and we saw some positives, we decided that Cell Platform was not an adequate name for nursery grow finish product. Rob can help me if you have a different explanation for this, but that's right. That's how it worked. So from there, then I'll move on to our newest findings on nursery and growing pig work. So just a summary from these then. So when we fed baseline to sows, our piglets that were coming from these sows had higher biomarker levels than the pigs that came from the control sows. These higher biomarker levels did corroborate with additional data that I mentioned, right, on pro-inflammatory cytokines that we took in the sows and the piglets. And then ultimately, right, what's important here, pigs that came from these sows had improved survivability throughout the nursery phase. Unfortunately, then we didn't have Leo tags for these pigs, right? We did not track them all the way to the nursery.